The thing about the IT band is that most of us think of it as a superior-inferior structure when we start to think about it like a structure that influences how the leg moves laterally, internal rotation and external rotation. It can change how we work. Oftentimes when I work with the IT band, I will use one hand to do the work and the other one to hold under the knee like you see here. And what this does is gives me the ability to turn the knee in and then relax the knee out so that I can influence what the femur does as I work. If you've ever watched somebody walk, which I'm sure you have, a lot of people will walk with their toes turned out or their toes pointed in, and there's a lot of internal or external rotation, most commonly external, happening, and that can really play a role in the hips and the knees. And so I like to kind of remind the IT band that it can move along the femur both towards the front and towards the back and not just slide up and down, so that the knee and the hip have a lot more freedom. Like I was saying before, most people externally rotate. You can do this with your client prone and pushing the IT band back towards the hamstrings, but what I'm doing is separating those lateral fibers away from the hamstrings and encouraging movement towards the quads and encouraging internal rotation of the hip. This deep release of these connective tissue fibers can free up the IT band and allow the hip and the knee to move in a way that is more functional. Reversing that same concept, I'm moving away from the adductors and crowding the tissue towards the IT band. I'm literally encouraging tissue patterns to flow over towards the IT band, giving the IT band more connective tissue and more space. One of the major players in the role of the IT band is the TFL, and this tiny little muscle in the front of the hip has an amazing amount of influence into the hip and the knee and even the foot and the low back. So I want to pay extra attention to it here. What I'm doing is using my hand again underneath the knee so that I can influence the femur rotating in and out of the acetabulum. And as I slide up towards the TFL, really crowding that tissue and sinking deep, I'm shaking the femur just a little bit internally and externally and allowing that vibrational movement to release the TFL and the tension that lies in the anterior hip. Oftentimes when we work with a client, we find that they've got a muscle firing pattern that is dysfunctional. What I'm doing here with this technique is retraining the muscle how to relax and how to move. By alternating combined forces of passive range of motion with compression, with any muscle, we can help to reset a firing pattern with that muscle. And so here with the TFL, it's internal rotation and compression into the slightly flexed hip. And so what you see here is I'm using my left hand to move the knee in and out passively, and then I'm using either a palm, a soft fist, the flat portion of my fingers, or a specific thumb to sink into the tension of the muscle and help to reset that pattern. Working over the drape can often help me to hold a specific position more intensely, and so I'm not sliding over the skin and moving the fascia around. I'm creating more of a deep compression. So same technique here, over the sheet, using either fingers or a palm, whatever works best, and just sinking in and creating a lot more movement and releasing that muscle for my client. Thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, comments, thoughts, ideas, anything, please share in the comments below. I'm going to be gone for a week for my summer vacation, so I will be back for more in a couple of weeks, and I hope you guys leave lots of comments and keep watching, keep sharing, and keep being awesome body workers.